I'm going to give you an insight to the e-commerce niche as a business model. Some of you may be familiar with SaaS or consulting or productized services, anything like that. I'm specifically going to be talking about e-commerce and how I've used it to further my entrepreneurial career. I'm hoping to inspire you guys to take some action tonight. I'm not looking to just give you guys philosophies and to think about stuff, but I actually want to give you some takeaways and some tips that you can kind of come home with and actually take action and further your businesses. I want to make sure that this is actually really an actionable topic for you guys. So I've got a couple disclaimers here. First of all, I don't have a 4-hour work week. As I told you, I work pretty hard, and it's more than 4 hours, I'm sorry to say. It will probably continue to be more than 4 hours for a long time because I really love what I do, and that's the joy of being able to build your business the way that you want, is that you're passionate about what you're doing and you can afford yourself the time to learn things that are exciting. And so I hope you see that enthusiasm and that passion in this talk tonight. But it's not a 4-hour work week for me yet. Also, I can only share my own perspective. Everyone has their own perspectives on how they're building business, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. I don't want you guys to take what I'm saying as the Bible for how to build an e-commerce store. This is only one perspective, only one way of thinking about it. And just wanted to make that disclaimer up front. Okay, so who am I? Why should you listen to me? This is a great way to start a presentation because nobody knows who you are, right? Pretty much probably nobody knows who I am right now. And that's fine because, you know what? I'm just a dude. I'm just some guy, and it doesn't really matter who I am because the whole point of this talk is that everything that I'm showing you is something that all of you guys can do for yourself. Anything that I've been able to do for myself can be replicated by any one of you, and I hope that I can inspire you in that way. Okay, so my story. I started off a couple years ago living in my parents' house. Yeah, no joke, I did. 3 years after college, I stayed in my parents' house and I put money away, and I had a crappy job. You know, I started in sales on telemarketing. It was one of the most unenjoyable jobs that I've ever had, and I hated going into work every day. It was really it was a drag. And so as all of us do, we dream. We dream of something bigger and better. And so I decided to kind of take action on that. You know, I wasn't going to just sit on the sidelines and just cry about it and cry to my friends. You know, I wanted to do something, and I know that it was possible. And so I decided to do something about it. And now I stand before you, the owner of, this hurts me to say because I try to be humble, but I have to impress on you the transition that I've made to an owner of a 240K e-commerce store with wonderful customers and wonderful teammates. So in this talk, I want to show you the transition that I've been able to take from that guy in their parents' house with a crappy job to where I am now, being able to live abroad, location independent, with wonderful companies, with wonderful customers and teammates. So that's kind of the objective here. So how did I get here? I have 2 main businesses that I've started. One that I'm going to only briefly talk about, and that's the Kindle publishing business. The main business, Healthy Hemp Oil, is my e-commerce store, which I'll talk about a little bit more. The Kindle publishing was something that one of my friends started doing, and it was for any of you who guys don't know about this. Kindle publishing is basically creating books to put onto Amazon to sell them. Anybody can self-publish a book. You can get it on there. It's very easy. Literally, you just have to upload a Word document. It's as simple as that as publishing. But there's a platform, and there's customers who are there who are ready for your content, and they're searching for your content. So there's a platform there built up, and that's how I kind of got my start. We'll talk about that right now. So KDP with Kindle, my success. I started out with a really great thing on the side. This is when I was working at the telecom center. When I was calling, I was making 60 phone calls a day, and I hated it. And I wanted to quit every single day. But I had this hope, this glimmer of hope, which was this business that I had on the side, and this Kindle business was great to me because it allowed me to really focus, to get focused on one specific skill set. The reason that Kindle was great to me was because it allowed me to reduce the skills that I was looking to build to it was it limited the amount of skills that I wanted to build. That's because Amazon has a distribution platform. They have proven customers, So basically, all I had to do was create a product, create and market a product. So I learned how to find customers who wanted products, and I learned how to build a product, and I learned how to outsource. I didn't have to learn how to generate traffic. I didn't have to learn how to build a website. I'm limiting all these other things and all these other factors. So in that sense, I was able to start slow and just work my way up. So this goes to my first tip. Limit the variables in your success equation. What I mean by that is when you're trying to improve yourself and you're trying to go into another trajectory of success, there's so many different variables that you have to deal with in any situation. And in order to improve your success rate, you want to try to limit those variables. So with my example with Kindle, in retrospect, I was able to see that because I didn't have to learn about traffic, because I didn't have to find the customers, they were already there, because I didn't have to learn about all these things with marketing. Amazon does the marketing for you. All I had to do was find a product. And so I was able to get success because I only had to work on one thing, which was building a product, finding customers, building a product. That's it. And I just repeated it. So something to think about. So if that was successful for me, why did I want to go to e-commerce? Why would anybody want to jump ship and just go to something completely different, which is kind of what I did. A little silly maybe, but that's what I did. And e-commerce was something I had no idea about. I heard about Amazon and I knew what e-commerce was, but I didn't know how to run a business. The main reason that I wanted to, because I didn't see Kindle as a long-term strategy. And I wanted to really grow myself as an entrepreneur and build a sustainable business. And I think all of you guys can appreciate that if you're looking to do something for the long term, you don't want that quick fix. You want to make sure that you're working towards something that can give you a sustainable income. Those same things that I really appreciated about Amazon, the distribution platform, not having to deal with marketing, not having to find customers or to build traffic, those were also limiting my potentials as an entrepreneur to grow. And so I decided to take another leap in my evolution of entrepreneurship, and I decided to go into e-commerce. So this brings me to tip number 2. Sometimes it's hard to think about what you want to do and which direction you want to go to. And I urge you guys to consider what skills you actually want to build. Who is the person that you want to be, and what kind of skills do you want to have? And then choose your direction. Is this direction somewhere that's going to give you those skills? And if not, maybe you should reconsider. Okay, a little bit of insight into drop shipping. This is the specific e-commerce model that I've been to. Who knows what drop shipping is? Okay, about half of you. So drop shipping is a specific form of an e-commerce model where you don't actually have inventory. You don't have to have a warehouse. You basically have a retail website that you drive traffic to and you market to, and then suppliers will actually ship products out on your behalf. So I decided to go into an e-commerce dropshipping model because that limited my variables, right? I don't have to have a warehouse. That's costly. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have to, in my case, even talk to suppliers because my dropshipper does all that for me. All I have to do now is focus on how to build my skill set as a marketer, as an online marketer. And now that I'm not hindered and limited by Amazon, I can learn how to build, I can learn email marketing, I can learn about PPC, all of these things that you couldn't previously do with Amazon. You can't send a PPC campaign to Amazon, your Amazon book listing. I wish you could, but you can't do it, they won't allow it. Okay, just a real quick snapshot about healthyhempoil.com. This is the e-commerce store that I decided to start. This is our tagline. We help people live happier and healthier lives. It's very vague, but I really mean it. And the product that we sell is a dietary supplement. It's a hemp oil supplement, which you guys might not have heard of, but it helps with anxiety and inflammation and sleep. And it's a product that really actually works, and it helps people a lot. And the testimonials that I get from people every day, they choke me up a little bit, and they inspire me to work harder. And I think in retrospect, finding a business and a product that I really feel aligned with, that I know that are helping people, it makes me happier to come to work every day. And it's inspiring for me to see that. Okay, I'm kind of jumping a little bit here, but this is my number 3 tip. You're going to hear a lot more about this with Lewis's talk, because he's the master on outsourcing. But hire others to multiply your time. I would not be where I am right now if I weren't able to hire other people for my weaknesses. There's no doubt in my mind. Everyone here is, even if you're going for more than the 4-hour work week, you need to be able to outsource some tasks that you can't afford to do. Some things you're just plain not good at. My list of things that I can't do is so long. I can't web develop. I'm not a great writer. I'm not a great editor. I'm not a great graphic designer. But that's okay, because I can hire those people to do those things for me. And if I wasn't able to do that, and if I wasn't able to take the time to find the right people, then I wouldn't be where I am today. Because while I'm here talking to you guys, my team is working for me. They're putting in hours for me right now. And while I'm sleeping, they'll put in work for me. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't dipped into outsourcing yet, you really want to think about it. It's not just for big companies. And I'm going to give you a couple tips right here to help you. Okay, I got to really speed up here. So this is the true 4-hour work week, outsourcing at its best. Again, you'll hear more for Lewis. So how do you start? If you want 3 quick tips to get started with outsourcing, set up an Odesk account, hire a web researcher to do a $3 an hour job, find your mom a present, find the best movies to go to, find the best bars to go to, do something very simple, and just be comfortable with it. And just allow yourself to delegate these tasks. Rinse and repeat. The more that you outsource, the more you'll want to do it. I guarantee you it's addicting. I guarantee you. I started to outsource anything that I could. Tried to hire business mentors, accountants, web developers, researchers, anything that I could. So I'll leave you with that. All right, like I said, who can you hire? Developers, writers, editors, data entry, web researcher, telemarketers, SEO, so on and so forth. If you can think about it, somebody will pay you, or you will be able to pay somebody to do it. And I've worked really well on Odesk, so I totally guarantee that. Okay, what's gone wrong in my company? PayPal, Amazon Ads, Google Adwords, Stripe, merchant account processors. All of these companies do not want to work with me. Yes, it's true. They don't like the industry that I'm in. I said it's hemp oil. It's very closely tied to marijuana and that industry. And because of that reason, they don't want to touch it. So PayPal held my money for 2 months in a bank account and didn't want to give it back. Amazon Ads rejected me, banned me. Google AdWords, after giving them lots of money, decided that they didn't want to partner with me anymore, and why not? Because they've got plenty of other people to pay them money. Stripe and my current merchant processor, who was processing my payments, is now saying that something's wrong with hemp oil. So it's not all roses, but I'm leading somewhere. Okay, what else has gone wrong? We're going to skip this, but in sake of time. The tip is, use your problems as an excuse to grow yourself. So I could have, at any of these points, I could have said, okay, screw it, I'm done with this industry, this is frustrating, I'm not getting sales, what am I going to do? Let's just jump ship, let's go somewhere else, but I didn't. And I encourage you guys to stick through those bumps, to go over those hurdles, and to challenge yourself to grow a lot, and use those problems as an excuse to do that. Because every time that you decide to do that for yourself, there's somebody else who is not, and they're failing. So let them go and let them stop, but don't you stop. All right, what works for me? We'll skip that one in sake of time. All right, I can't believe I wrote this on a slide, but I did. And it's so true, because years ago, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I could do this. And even being up here speaking to you guys is really awesome for me to be able to do. And so when I talk about believing in yourself, even if you guys have a successful business or what you would consider a successful business, I encourage you to think about where you want to be in the future. Do you believe that you can get there? There's always a next level. Even if it's that, where do you want to be in your lifestyle? Do you believe that you can get there? So think about that long term and what you want to do and how you can try to get there. All right, I really got to go pretty quickly, right? All right, so I'm going to wrap up with some of the questions from the tips that I have real quick, just to get you guys thinking and take some actionable takeaways. So limit the variables in your success equation. What can you do to reduce your learning risk? So think about that, and think about what you can Think about how you can continue to reduce and focus on something that you can really provide value on. Choose skills and then choose the direction. What do you really want to build skill set wise in the next couple of months, the next 3 to 6 months, the next half of a year, the next 2 years? Think about what you're working on. Think about the things that you're reading. Are you reading things that are going to benefit you? Or are you just reading whatever comes up? Hire people to multiply your time. Again, we're going to talk about this more, but it's so important. You got to think about it. Use problems as an excuse to grow. Grow over those hurdles. Believe in yourself. How would you act if your goals were inevitable? I stole this one from Evan Pagan, but it's a great one. Think about it. How would you act if your goals were inevitable? If you knew for a fact, without a shadow of doubt, that you were going to achieve everything you wanted to? How would you act? And with that, I want to say thank you. And if you guys want to chat further, you can hit me up here, and we can schedule some time to chat. We have, yeah, time for questions?
So if you're 240K, that's presumably revenue. How much are you paying yourself? If it's not a real question.
Sure. No, that's a good question. So the question was, how much do I pay myself if I make 240 a year in salary? I don't exactly have a specific measure. I still have money coming in from my Kindle publishing business, so I try not to take money out when possible because I want to reinvest as much as possible into that business to further grow it. So 99% of what I make from this company goes right back in to drive further growth. But again, if you need that money to live, you need to have that money.
2 questions.
Okay.
One, how long did it take for you to 240? And how many hours do you work in the week?
Okay, good questions. So first he asked, how long did it take for me to get to 240? And then how long do I work? So I didn't even talk about this. I launched this business January 1st. Got my first sale January 1st. And last month was 20K in revenue, which is about 240 per year. So, you know, we kind of started the trajectory from 4,000 in the first month to 9,000 to 10,000 and so on and so forth to 20,000, and you know, we're increasing every month. In terms of the amount of time that I put into the business, I started out for the first 3 or 4 months working 80-hour weeks. My friends will tell you that I'm crazy. I now do not work that long because I have full-time employees, namely customer service, which I think was the most important thing to take care of, and that afforded me probably 20 hours less of work. But I do work less now that I have more people to work with me full-time.
I have a question. What is your primary motivation? Is it growing your business, or is it actually like a passion also for the product? For example, the hemp oil, do you use it yourself?
Okay, so he asked what my primary motivation for business. I think it's both, because I touched about both of those topics. I'm motivated to grow myself as an individual. As you can see, I made a jump from Kindle to e-commerce because I wanted to improve myself and I wanted to build a skill set long term. And so I think it's motivating for myself to be able to accomplish new things that I wasn't able to before. And yeah, I love that it's a product that I truly, honestly believe helps people. I didn't even get to tell you guys a story, a testimonial of a woman who's in Australia who has seizures constantly, and she's used this product, and she's reduced her seizures to 1 to 2 a day, down from about 30. And her husband says that she's a completely new person. And so it's stories like that really, they make you just want to give more, and it makes you want to build the business stronger. So I think they both work. You in the back? Also a great question. So how did I discover my idea? I did some copywriting kind of when I was in between phases and I was trying to look for what to do. I was looking to sharpen my skill set, so I went on to Odesk and I just applied for jobs to do copywriting. I ended up writing copywriting for a guy who sold this product. Serendipity perhaps, but I ended up talking with him and decided to go into business with him.
So it was not, you didn't design the product?
I did not design the product. Yes, this is a dropshipping website. I'm moving into manufacturing and stuff like that, but right now it's just retail.
What was the thing that you did that was the tipping point that brought you the most revenue?
The tipping point that brought me the most revenue. Yeah, that's a tough question. I think it's been a pretty steady growth so far. I don't know if there was one consistent thing. I mean, throughout this whole time, I've tried to emphasize customer service because I know that when people come for a product, they're not just buying the product, they're buying the experience. And that's something that I'm still working on. I mean, to be honest, I think the organic traffic strategy, which I didn't get in time to because I cut it completely out of this presentation because we didn't have time. But if you want to speak to me about this afterwards, I'd be happy to tell you about my organic traffic strategy, which I think afforded me more traffic while Google AdWords cut me completely out. So if I had been dependent completely on AdWords for traffic and business, I would have been 3 months out of the hole if I hadn't been also building my organic traffic strategy.
Is there any science validating the benefits from the hemp oil?
Any signs?
Science.
I'm sorry.
Science.
Oh, science. Yes. Yeah. So it's still a new industry. You know, that's kind of the debate, right? You know, what's working, what's not working, what's FDA approved, what's not, what can you talk about, what can you say it works for? And the crazy thing about this industry is that people come and talk to me and they say, I saw somebody who cured their cancer with hemp oil, you know, will it work for me? And, you know, that's such a hard question to answer. You know, I've always taken the stance of, you know, the research doesn't support it quite yet. That doesn't mean that it's not there, but, you know, here's the current research so far. And there's lots of science, but again, it's an emerging market. So you kind of have to be really careful what you do talk about, and you don't want to lead people down the wrong direction.
I know that the biggest challenge probably in this industry is that each country has their own regulations for health, like nutritional products, and especially Germany and Switzerland are very, very strict on that. And I know that because I work with a similar company, or also a health company, they've had a lot of trouble to actually get those products approved to be delivered, shipped to those countries. What's your situation there? Do you ship worldwide, or what's?
Yeah, we do ship worldwide. We've kind of taken the stance of just trying to figure it out as we go. I mean, there's no like website that lists which countries can get hemp oil and which ones can't. You know, we're kind of making it up on the fly. So we send the product out. If it doesn't get through, we send the customer a refund, and then we typically don't ship to that country again if it doesn't get through 3 or 4 times. So it's a bootstrapper's way of doing it. Do we have one more question? Okay.
So you say you have 240K revenue. That means your profit is way lower. And you've been talking so much about outsourcing and the team you're employing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any venture capital to finance that? Because I mean, it's 240K a year. Profit, you I don't know, employ 3 people, that must be it.
Well, what's your main question?
Did you have any funding before?
Oh, okay. No funding. This is a completely bootstrap business. I've funded this all on my own income coming from the digital publishing business, which was Kindle. I kept my costs low by having contractors, by building the skill set of learning to outsource and finding quality contractors at a low price, which you can do on Odesk very well. So I don't employ many people in the States because I can't afford it yet, but I think when I can, I will. I think outsourcing is a great way to get started and to build your skill set. So, all right, thank you guys so much again, and enjoy the rest of the talk.